afternoon and welcome once again to Civil Engineering Today, brought to you by the Boston Society of Civil Engineers. I'm Anna Christina Fregoso.
And I'm Brockman.
And today's show is infrastructure.
That's right. We're going to talk about the infrastructure, and we have a special guest today. We have Brian Brenner. He is lots of things. He's an author. He's a professor at Tufts University. And he is also
a bridge
engineer at Face Spofford and Thorndike. And welcome, Brian.
Thanks.
So the way we're going to talk about infrastructure today is we're going to be celebrating the infrastructure in a big way on May 16th up in Ipswich, because there's a bridge up there that is the oldest two-span stone arch in the country, but it's the second oldest bridge in the United States. And it's having its 250th birthday. It's in its 250th year right now, and we're having a big celebration on May 16th. And as a professor, Brian, you had graduate students and you worked on putting together a big paper on it. You want to tell us a little bit about that, about Emma and Julia's?
Yeah, we had, for the bridge class at Tufts, the bridge design class at Tufts, we had, the students had a choice for a project. And they decided to do some documentation on the Choate Bridge. So this was Julia Carroll and Emma Francis, now it's Emma Cardini. And so they put together a little paper, which was published in the BSCS Journal, about the Choate Bridge, the gorgeous bridge. And they also help with documentation for the application for historic status. And I guess that's what's going to be celebrated in May. It's coming up. Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. So the American Society of Civil Engineers, they put up on their website a whole, a whole big page about the bridge. And it's also, the Library of Congress has a whole collection of pictures. And the town of Ipswich, the historian Gordon Harris from Ipswich, on a blog, he's put up a big, beautiful history of the bridge. And there's so much written about this bridge. It's actually just totally incredible. The bridge, it dates back to 1764. So
that's when it starts built. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually didn't get to read the paper. Is that on the website if I want to go read it?
Yeah, the paper is
I know it's a brick.
I should
brick and mortar.
Yeah, so it's like a masonry arch bridge, double arch bridge.
Yep. So it's all fry-laid.
Yeah.
250 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty old. I mean, and the incredible thing about it is it's not like some wimpy little bridge. This bridge is Route 1A and Route 133 combined together at that point as it comes through the center of Ipswich, and it's carrying 26,000 cars a day.
Plus or minus.
Yeah, plus or minus. And it's full truck traffic and carrying, full statutory loads.
I've actually gone on it a lot. It goes down by that little antique row, all those little antique shops. Yep. I've been on it a lot.
Well, one part about the bridge is, it's perfectly scaled for the town. And it's a gorgeous bridge, and it just fits in with the town itself, Ipswich, and the historic town. It's just a nice bridge to see. For bridge engineers, it makes you really happy to see it. So I'm happy.
I know there's only, I think I did read briefly, there's only 2 other bridges that are about the same age in the country.
There's another one down in Pennsylvania that's
only one.
So there's one bridge. So it's funny because that one bridge is a 3-span stone arch, but we're the oldest 2-span stone arch in the country.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
You know what I find really, I think the best thing about this is not just celebrating the bridge, but last year we did the Cape Cod Canal. Right. This year we're doing the bridge, and that ties into our whole infrastructure. It's nice to see it being highlighted for once. And I mean, this 250 years, I'm sure the costs were different then, but that's a lot for your money.
But it's funny, people were not very different 250 years ago as today. And you don't
were they complaining about the cost back then too? Oh, really? I want to hear about this.
So here's a story. This is at the opening of the bridge 250 years ago. A blind man that lived there presented a poem, and we're going to have somebody dressed up in colonial costume and reading the poem on the bridge.
Not blind, though.
Not blind, no. But it's funny, nobody wrote it down at the time, but a 12-year-old boy at the time remembered this poem, and when they widened the bridge, I hope I get my facts right, that he remembered it and wrote it down years later when he was grown up, and then presented the poem from memory. So that poem made that much of an impact on someone that he remembered it for years from when he was a kid.
So he remembered it, and then decades later he wrote it down.
And the funny thing is,
awesome.
It's a long poem. And you know what
it's not so easy to remember.
So here goes. Okay. Tell me if this just sounds like it could have been something written today. Behold the bridge of lime and stone, the like before was never known, for beauty and magnificence, considering the small expense, how it excels what was expected upon the day it was projected. When faithful men are put in trust, they'll not let all the money rust, but some advance for public good is by this fabric understood, and after this it will be wrote in honor of brave Colonel Choate. It was his wisdom built the same, and added luster to his fame, that filled this county with renown, and did with honor Ipswich crown. I was probably say renown.
Is renown or Ipswich crone?
Crone.
To make it rhyme.
So now I find that interesting that he thought the expense was small, and also that he was faithful that they wouldn't let the money go to waste. So they cared about maintenance of the bridge. Obviously, if it's standing.
Right, and they were very, very proud of their infrastructure, and that's something that it's not every day you hear people talking proudly, like they're really proud that they got a new bridge. People take them a little bit for granted. Except for John Oliver.
The original bridge, John Oliver, that's next. The original bridge, like they had bridges there which were timber before.
Yeah.
And then they decided that the timber wasn't really durable.
Right.
So someone at the time made the decision that they really need something more durable. And they were looking towards the future to have it. And here we are 250 years later. And the decisions that they made are still serving us pretty well. So that's good news.
Well, one amazing thing is Ipswich. I mean, the people in the town of Ipswich are the Historical Commission and John Fisk and the people there are just very.
What do you call? How do you call someone from Ipswich? Like an Ipswichian?
Ipswichian?
Yeah, is that the name?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ipswichian.
I'll ask my girlfriend.
Ipswich?
She's from Ipswich.
So she would know that?
She might
All right.
know that.
Sorry to interrupt.
Unfortunately, we don't have the answer now, but
Okay. Well,
we'll reveal it on
there's
the
like millions of
next
people
episode.
watching right now, so they wanted to know. And we
Yeah.
can interrupt that. So you were saying?
So people historically in that town have always kept they document everything. You wouldn't believe how much detailed information they have about everything and about the upkeep and the, they were spending so much money on maintaining that old bridge. And then the bridge was widened. It was originally built only a 20-foot wide bridge. And
Usually like one lane.
yeah, but
one carriage.
Because
But it
that was
wasn't two
horses in those
horses.
days.
But it
Oh, you
wasn't-
gave it 2 horses going by?
Yeah, you
But
can-
they couldn't be big horses. They had to be like more narrow horse.
Yeah,
to
they-
get 2 horses.
they
Okay.
had a diet to get over the bridge.
Yeah, because they're like a really big horse. It wouldn't fit by.
They weren't the Clydesdales. I think these were your standard.
Just like the
quarter
Budweiser
horse.
commercial. But there
Yeah,
was
no,
was there
no, they were
Budweiser in that
Bud
day? Or did they have Budweiser?
Maybe
Okay.
they should have.
So then they widened the bridge, so now you can fit like more stuff on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it wasn't the town that wanted to widen it. So this was a real infrastructure plan. They wanted a road that connected all the states in the in the 1800s.
This is almost like when the beginning of the U.S. highways.
Yeah, yeah. This is like a real highway, and the town actually was like, "Listen, this is going to cost us money. Like, give us the money for it." And it got argued, I guess, for like 10 years
really?
to get it approved. Times don't change.
That's right.
It's just,
That story sounds
They'll
familiar.
argue first. But
Yeah.
so who was the? I imagine commercial and business were the people who really wanted this, because 1A was a pretty prominent highway for.
yeah, I mean,
long time.
I'm sure they were just calling it the road or something like that.
The
back then.
Ipswichian Road.
Yeah, the Ipswich.
There are abandoned roads up there for sure, though, because I've gone hiking on them.
Yeah, I guess the original bridge, they had a bridge that was crossing right where the dam is earlier.
Was
than
that upstream?
upstream?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just incredible that they've got all this documentation, and we came with the idea over as soon as we called for the town. They were just so excited about it, and people like Carrie Bates and all kinds of people in the town were right away trying to put everything together and make a whole big plan for the day of things we're going to do. And
Are you talking about the celebration in May?
yeah, on May
7th? 16th.
16th. So it's
Okay.
on a Saturday at 1 in the afternoon.
How come everybody told me May 7th? Maybe they didn't want me to come?
That's it.
It's like a
No, they
coincidence.
want you to come.
Okay.
But they want you
So
to
they
just
want
sit
to
for a
enjoy
good
it.
long time.
So I'll sit there for 9 days. No, it's May 17th.
Yeah, but there's
Okay.
a good
Is there a
pub on the
plan
corner.
for,
There's a Choate Bridge pub right there, so you can just.
That works.
Yeah.
Is there a plan for in case there's snow?
In May,
Yeah.
I think probably people will scream and leap off the bridge.
Okay, which then it'd have another use.
Yes.
But
If we
hopefully
have
the snow will
then
melt by
we'll probably
then.
have gotten our extra 2 inches, and we'll have a record.
Yeah, the way things are going. Is this changing the topic? The way things are going,
If you want.
that the snow, like we're 2 inches short officially, right? 1.9
Yeah.
I think
inches.
so, yes.
And it looks like maybe there won't be more snow. So after everything we've gone through, we'll be 1.9 inches short.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
It's
That's all I got.
You know, I think though, this actually brings up an interesting point as far as drainage. Do you happen to know any of the technical parts of the bridge? Can you tell us, like, how did they deal with it back then?
In terms
Does it have a slope, or how was drainage dealt with?
I think, well, for one thing, they didn't worry about removing snow and putting it in streams the way we do nowadays. You know, so nowadays we can't just take snow off and dump it in the harbor, or you know, in a stream or something. But I'm sure in those days they would just, I don't know if they had plows or not. I don't think they had plows in the 18th century.
Well, they had a different kind of plow, like the field plow.
A field plow, but
Yeah,
not a
bunch
snow
of
plow.
people and like a mule.
Yeah, so I don't really know much about it, but I suppose they would just brush it off to the sides and so on. There'd be a plan.
See, now someone could argue that we
No
should
cars.
go back to just dumping in the stream if we want our infrastructure to last so long.
Well, they had, was there emergency requests for this winter, right? In
Yes, they
some of
did.
the towns that they got permission to do it.
But I don't
Yeah,
think they
you
treated the
kinda
snow
had to.
back then, and that made the bigger difference.
Yeah,
I'm sure they
there was
didn't put
much
chemicals on it.
salt in
like
it.
they do.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They definitely didn't. But they didn't have cars. It was a lot different. It was a
Yeah,
very
there's no
different-
salt, no plows, and
Right.
no cars.
Right.
But they did have horses.
Yeah.
But that's not really relevant to the topic
Yeah,
otherwise.
well, yeah, I think, yeah.
Speaking of the topic, so I want to talk about that John Oliver thing. I think everybody should watch that.
Yes.
I'll tell you,
Yeah,
last
that's
week,
awesome.
this week,
Very good.
Yeah.
I just can't believe, like you know, for years we've been trying. It's
We
funny
said
'cause
it on this show. We've said almost everything that they were saying.
he's got one comparison talking about, you know, since we're the American Society of Civil Engineers, and he's talking about the American Society of Civil Engineers and talking about, you know, we're like, when we talk about the infrastructure, it seems very self-serving because, of course, we want more infrastructure because that's what we do for a living. And he makes a comparison of, like, you know, that like golden retrievers and tennis balls. More tennis balls, definitely.
Yeah, he did say that. So.
I don't think that's fair, though, because we see the infrastructure. We
Right.
often are inspecting it, so we know, you know, what it should be and what it would be like without.
Right. I think one thing we've all got in common is we all chose this profession because we really care about the infrastructure, and it comes up in everything we do. I mean, you've got your third book coming out.
I do.
And almost a common theme through almost everything you've written, even though they're actually really funny books. I love those books.
Thank you.
Like, I think every bookstore should have them.
I would go beyond that. I would say that every person in the United States should have a copy.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
But I may be a little bit like that. That's kind of a self-serving comment, though, to an
Yeah,
extent.
there we go.
A little
You
bit.
think?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Back into the John Oliver.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But they are funny, so.
right, but always through it, like, you know, you've got that deep love of bridges.
I love bridges.
You really love bridges.
Well, actually, last night I was teaching bridge class, and I have to admit that last night was my birthday. So
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, now the whole world's gonna know. It's supposed to be a secret. Oh well. So my son said that he wanted to give me my present during bridge class last night, and I didn't know what it was. So he came into the middle of bridge class, and I introduced him, and that gave me a good time to stop teaching because I was mangling an example. So then you can ask the students about it. I was like messing up the fatigue example, so that was good timing. So then he comes into the class and he shows me that he had a friend who's a painter, painted a picture of the Verrazano Bridge. And he showed us this gorgeous picture. And that was my birthday present.
Oh,
So I
nice.
love
That
bridges.
is
It's
really nice.
really nice.
Are you going to put it in your office, in the classroom? Where do you
I
get to
think-
see it most?
I think it's going in my office. Yeah.
In your office.
My whole office is like covered with bridge pictures. So I'll have to like move a few around. But
Gee, I have birds. What does that say?
are you a
You're
bird
a
fan?
tunnel. You're a
I
tunnel
do
engineer.
like birds. Yeah, I'm a tunnel engineer, but hey.
Yeah, you can't really. What kind of picture can you take of a tunnel though?
That's
No
the whole
offense.
thing. No, but it's true. It's
We
hard to
could
get.
take lots. Whether or not people should see them is another story.
Sure.
It's really hard to get people to appreciate a tunnel.
Because it's kind of like underground.
Yeah.
Underground bridge. We were
That's
talking
right.
about that earlier.
So yeah, I agree with you, Reed, that the appreciative infrastructure is something that attracted us three to what we're doing now. But I'm not so sure. You know, Mr. Oliver made the comment about being self-serving, but I think the reality is that people are aware of the concept that the infrastructure needs to stay up, and it's not happening as well right now.
No, and I think you're absolutely right. I think lately it seems like people are starting to talk about it. And I think given the amount of potholes we're going to see from this storm
and then the
amount of water main breaks we're going to see, because we're definitely going to see some of those. And
just with the cold.
Yeah, I read a statistic the other day that said there's a water main break in this country, somewhere in this country, like every 4 hours.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's a lot of
true.
breaks.
I'm sorry, I have no resource to.
Again, you can see that being true, though.
Right, it's a big
done so much damage.
I mean, it's seriously. I mean, our infrastructure needs love, and I think people are starting. When you don't have water for 4 days, all of a sudden, you start to care.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be to the point where you're at that point where now you're doing something about it, but
yeah,
you might have to come to that.
But it's a little bit ironic that there's so much attention from his TV show.
Yeah.
Because we've all been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
But he made, and it's something that impacts people also. It's not just us talking, but
Right.
But that show is getting a lot of attention. So maybe that's what it takes to help address things. When the engineers sit around a table like, say, us. I mean, so we're not as funny as them. We're pretty funny though, to an extent.
I think we are.
A little bit. Yeah.
I think we could be.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not like TV stars, right? So like when he's
And
talking
we definitely
about
couldn't get Ed Norton.
were you trying to get Ed Norton?
Yeah, we definitely couldn't get him on our
Did you
show.
try?
No, I actually haven't called him or anything.
So if you don't call him, how's he going to come? He
It's like
doesn't
playing
know.
the lottery. It's like, right, that's why I never win, because I never buy the ticket.
That's right. You have to take the chance. But yeah, it is kind of interesting that that's what it takes to really get the attention. The TV show like that.
I think you're right.
He hit the nail so on it. But he's talking about, everybody like talking about the politicians love the giant scissors, But nobody, that means when he talks about the Lego maintenance kit, the structure comes built and you watch it. And then you die.
It's not quite as exciting.
Not quite as exciting.
I know. Maybe it's like to an extent human nature that it's more interesting to build the new ones than to
But I
maintain
think
the old ones.
Here we go. I mean, it's not ribbon cutting, but we are getting some attention from some politicians. Certainly the town is interested. They're aware of the benefit. From a long time they've been aware, even though there were, I'm sure, fun town meetings on paying for it in the first place. It got done and they appreciate it. They still appreciate it. So, and like I said, like last year, the Cape Cod Canal. Next year, we'll have to find something else that we want to highlight.
There's some great ones coming up. I mean, over and over. We actually went through and tried to think of what structures are going to be having their anniversary. 2020 is 400 years since Plymouth Rock.
But that's not really a bridge.
It's not a bridge, but it's a rock.
But it's an interesting story.
But
That's true.
It's not where the Pilgrims
It's
landed.
not what kids learn in school, or what I remember learning anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
the Pilgrims landed in Provincetown. They sent out a survey crew to find a good place to build
And how
a
long did that
sustainable
take?
civilization. Not much time. They sailed around. They came around the coast. They found the place that they thought was right.
Was there a
They went
rock
back
there?
and got the Mayflower
That's not the
and brought it
actual
over.
rock. I mean, I thought that was they
they
put
say
a
it
rock
is.
there or something.
I think it's symbolic.
I guess
Okay.
in the 1700s or something, there was an old guy in town that swore that this was the rock because his grandfather told him when he was little that this was the rock.
And that's how the tradition
And they
began.
went with that. So
It
something
works.
like that. It works.
Maybe
Helps
that's-
the tourist industry.
Maybe
So.
that's
The young guy knows.
They had to row in. It's not like they can bring the whole boat, so. maybe
Didn't
that's
they
what
have like
happened.
sails though? I mean, there weren't any motors, like no electric motors, but they had like the sail.
No
sailboat.
electric motors.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they didn't have
Okay.
any.
Because that was before that time.
That would be fun, though. I would love to. That would be an awesome.
But to
do
go to the
something on the
400,
Plymouth Rock.
to have the 400th anniversary of the Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
To me, it's an infrastructure story. See,
So would
I
you
think
be
so, a little
involved
bit.
in the celebrations for that, even though it's not a bridge? Because they do have bridges in Plymouth.
Yeah, they do. That point's a good point,
Yeah.
but not really. I mean, I'm not involved with because it's more like a rock.
Well, I'm
bridge.
geotech, so I'm loving.
So you
I'm
might be
loving
dealing
all
with that instead of me because you deal with soil and rocks.
Maybe.
oh man,
It's possible.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
we're running out of time.
Oh, can we do more?
We can do more if you want to come on again.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a
Anytime you
fun
wanna come on,
guest,
you
so-
got your book
Uh-oh,
coming
did I
out
invite
in about-
myself again?
In about
Okay.
3 months. Too much information's coming out in a few months.
Okay, then I'll
That's the
definitely
name
come
of your
back.
book,
Come
Too
back.
Much
It's called Too Much
Information?
Information.
All right, I'm definitely going to read that,
Yep.
actually.
And
Okay.
everybody, May 16th, come on up to Ipswich. It's not far away. Beautiful town. Lots
Family
of good
fun.
restaurants.
It's excellent.
Something for the whole family. It's going to start with making drums at the library at 1, presentation at 2, and then we're going to do kids' activities after the presentation. That'll go till about 5, and then This is still, I shouldn't really be saying everything because we haven't really finalized the
Yeah,
details.
we'll
But at night they're
These
going
are
to light it up and have a
hypothetical.
More in
band. And,
April.
yeah.
End of April show, we'll run
It's
it.
going to be a really great
There's
day.
a
I think
website
everybody
too you
should
can
That's
visit.
nice.
get their way up there.
Excellent.
Yep, www.engineeryourfuture.org. And also, I just bought a domain. Don't look at it today. Look at it any other day because right now it looks like garbage. But it's www.celebrateinfrastructure.com. .org.
.org.
Yeah,
.org.
org's are cheaper. Coms cost a lot.
Celebrateinfrastructure.org. Okay, so
.org.
you'll have info on that too.
Yep,
Okay, so visit that and do watch the John Oliver skit. We highly recommend it.
yep. I got that
Know
link
this
on
little
at
dig at us.
celebrateinfrastructure.org. That's the only thing that's up there right now.
Excellent.
And thank you again, Brian, so much for coming.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks for the
We'll see
invitation.
you next month.